How you doing today? Hope you're doing okay. Am I in the picture okay? I want to show you something. Today we're going to do a painting digitally. And so when you do a digital painting, there is no, I know you know this, there's nothing on paper, there's nothing on canvas until you print it. So I want to show you one. Now, this is not the one we're going to paint today, but let me back up. Do you see that? So this is 16 by 20. I did it digitally. I'm going to show you Procreate, the Procreate app, which is what I used to do this. It is a painting. It's not a photograph. I want you to get a good look at that little doggy there. You see the brush strokes? I hope you can. I'm not really sure if you can on the video. But anyway, I did it in a painterly way, meaning, you know, looks like I painted it with a brush, which I did, but it's a digital brush. You're going to see everything in a second, but this is not the painting we're doing. I just wanted to show you how nice it looks printed up. And oh my gosh, these are gifts that people love. I'm telling you. So you can paint it digitally, then print it. I printed this at Walgreens. Even the frame is at Walgreens. So, and it just comes in a nice box like this from their photo department. And, you know, I've given these as gifts. People love them. And you can print them again, you know, so, and if you sell them, by the way, the formula I use, paint on canvas, I know it seems a little bit on the low end, but I do $3 a square inch. That's the paint on the canvas or the paint on a greeting card. I know. You can always come down if you're going to paint something and sell it. And I don't know what year you're watching this, but if it's 2024, $3 a square inch is not unreasonable. However, if you're printing it like this, you have the cost of Walgreens and you have the cost of the frame if you're selling it with a frame. So kind of figure it out yourself. I kind of go for $1.50 a square inch with these ones. I'm not selling this one, by the way. And I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just know that the question of making money with art comes up like almost every other day. So I don't really know the best answer for how to make money with art. For me, as you know, most of the art I do is with these greeting cards. And I have sold some of them, to be honest with you, but most of the time, I just give them away as gifts. And people love them, so. And I like doing them. And I like doing them with the video rolling too. God, my shirt is open too much. So, all right, so but today we're gonna paint this one, and it's digital. So here's my iPad. Turn it on. We open it up to the page. This is the painting we're gonna do today. Little girl running through the water, splashing. If you can see, it's all brush strokes, and there you go. So a little girl just having a good time running through the water, splashing. And I recorded the whole thing in real time. Sorry, I'm cutting off the top of my head with this video. There we go. And now I'm crooked. Let me button my shirt. Get myself presentable here. There. All right. Should I start over? No. All right. Let's just do this. All right, here's the painting of the little girl running through the water. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but there it is. All right. Okay. This is an interesting one. I really have loved doing paintings using Procreate and doing it on the iPad. I have had my iPad with me, oh gosh, everywhere. And I could imagine you could be like at an airport or a train station if you take the train. And by the way, I have taken the train, the Amtrak train. I kind of love it. Robin's not a big fan, but I kind of love it. She prefers to fly. I have no problem with flying. It's just that the train ride, you know, if you're going someplace on a train, the ride itself is part of the experience. So is the flight. I get it. And sometimes I like to get places right away too. All right, enough of that. So we're starting with Procreate. That's what it looks like. And it's a wonderful, unbelievably beautiful program. If you're using a digital program of any sort, they're probably all good. But this is the one I fell in love with, and that's the one I want to show you. So this is my gallery. What that means is this is the artwork I've done already before. So I'll show you a piece of digital artwork I did, and it's this one. So I did that one here on this program. I do these so that they look painterly, so that they have a painterly look to them, as if it was painted with real paint. I prefer that way as opposed to, let's say, and you could do anything you want. I'm not saying one way is better than the other. When I was trying to do stuff that looked almost photographic, it did look almost photographic, and I didn't really like it looking photographic. I wanted it to look like paint. I wanted it to look like this. I guess if I make it big enough, you can see the brush strokes, okay? And then also what I do with my Procreate, and I'm going to show you one now that you might have seen me do. So here's the tiger that I painted on a greeting card. And the reason it's on my Procreate is because I took a photo of it with my camera on my phone, and then I put it into Procreate because I wanted it to be 300 dpi, 300 dots per inch, so that it could be higher resolution when it comes to printing it on things like printed postcards or printed greeting cards. So I want to show you, before we do anything else, how we get started. Now I'm not going to show you that because I've done a lot of videos showing painting with watercolor and or gouache, but I want to show you a digital painting. And like I showed you in the intro, these are a wonderful way to create a gift for somebody. So I'm going to start with the canvas. Now I'm going to use a 27-inch by 21-inch canvas, even though ultimately if I print it up it's not going to be that big, but it can be, and it can be larger than that a little bit. If you go way too large, then it's going to be pixelated. That's the only downfall about digital art, although you know some of them have such high resolution. Let me show you what this one is. So let me go to the canvas information and just give you an idea of this one. The dimensions of this one, according to this, if you can see here, I hope you can, it's 27 inches wide by 21 inches tall, 300 dpi. You can make that larger. I don't. So actually I have at times, like if I'm doing a book illustration and the author or the publisher doesn't really know what they want, I'll make it a little bit bigger, maybe 400 or whatever, just to make it even super high resolution. But anyway, it's 8100 pixels wide by 6300 pixels wide, which is way more than you actually are going to need, especially if you're making illustrations for a children's book, or as I showed you in the beginning, a print on a 16 by 20 canvas. They just come out beautiful. So what else did I want to show you on here? I also want to show you on here that when I have those dimensions, then I'm limited to only 6 layers, which is good enough for me. I don't need multiple layers. I mean 6. I do need multiple layers, but I don't need more than 6. You'll see. All right, well, let's get started with this. So I'm using the Apple Pencil. Oh, there it is. That's the stylus I'm using. It has no real brush tip on it. It does have a tip on it, and I do not have a special surface on the glass. Some people like to have a coating on it. There's an application you can lay on it to make it feel more like paper. I've never tried that, but some people swear that they like it a lot better. All right, so we want to do the little girl walking, like running through the water. So we're going to start with a brown tone. So brown skin tones, or even light skin tones, are usually in the red-orange family. And so you have here, for those of you who have never seen Procreate, you have this one. This is called the Classic. See this little dot up here? That tells you what the color is going to be. So it's red up there, and it gets less red and more brown down here. And if you go up here, it's the lighter tones. If you can see that, let me make it easier to see. Let me make it easier. Let me just get this Tamar brush. Okay, so here is, let me do this. This is a good idea. So these, right, by the way, this will increase and decrease the opacity, and this increases and decreases the size of the brush. So let's just start there. So if you do this, okay, now there's kind of a light skin color, and then in the same palette here, you can go over here and make darker skin colors, and you can put them all together and create a nice palette, if you will. In fact, why don't we do that? Why don't we kind of create a palette of colors, a couple of different shades here. So it's almost like putting paint on a palette. It's not a bad way to do it. Let's see if I got this one a little bit lighter. Let me make that a little bit lighter than that. And by the way, you can use also this the disc one if you prefer. It's the same idea. It's just it has the color wheel. One of the things I like about the color wheel is you instantly know what the complementary color is. So in this case, it would be this blue over here, and I won't be using that, but that's what it will look like. Maybe I will use that. Okay, all right, that's good. Keep it like that. All right, now what I want to do, I honestly didn't plan on doing this, but I'm going to do this. Let's see if there's any other colors we can use. Let's put it back to the Classic. Let's see if we want a little bit darker. This is a little bit darker tone. All right, I'm gonna use this as a palette now, almost as a canvas. I'm not a canvas, a palette, of course. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shrink that, way down here, so that I can sample from it. How about that? Huh? I didn't know I was gonna do that. And the background now is white. I really don't want the background to be white. I want the background to be maybe something like that. And the reason I chose that color is because look how you can see all those colors nicely. And then we're going to paint over it. So okay, so that's the colors. Those are the palettes. Now that's a layer. So now we've used one layer. So I'll have to make another layer. And there it is. And the first thing I want to do is the little girl. So you can just touch it. I'm going to take that brown right there, and I'm going to use the dry brush here. Can you read it? It says dry brush. And let's just make the little girl, just her face. That's it. That's her whole face right there. Okay? Now, if you duplicate that 4 times, let me show you something. You can take this and duplicate it, and then you take that and you bring it down, put it right under the circle. So all it is a circle. Okay? Now what I want to do is I want to do another one, duplicate it, and take that one and bring it down. Now this is a child, so I'm going to show you kind of a little trick here. So we want that one to be the head. These are going to be the body. However, you need 4 of them if you want it to be accurate. So I merged the 2, so there's 2. Now I'm going to duplicate those 2, so I have 2 more. And there's the 2 more. Okay, is it making sense? Now we can merge these 2 together, because remember, we only have 6 layers that we can use. Now we have their head, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 of the heads, the same height as the head. And so now we can put them all together so that we have 5. This is a good hack, if you will, for children. It's not a good hack for adults. I think adults is more like 7 to 1. and this is more like 4:1, I think, if I remember right. But you can study at the anatomy of anybody and see it for yourself. All right, so now the next thing we want to do is we want to, because that's the size that we want it to be in the end, so she's going to be a very small girl. You see, she's going to be, this is the girl here, that's the girl, and we're going to keep her in the picture right about there, running through the water. And we may change her size, but right now, just to see it better, we're going to make it very much larger. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to copy that again. I'll show you why. I'm going to turn one of those 2 layers off, and we're going to take this one and make it so big. Well, that's good enough. So now that's her head right there. Okay, I know this sounds weird, right? So you go from the top of the head to the bottom of the head, and you remember your little lessons that you learned in art class about the 50% place. Okay, so the 50% place is where her, between there and there, is right about there. So that's going to be her eyes, right about there. And let me see, actually I think I'll do that on a separate layer, just so that I can fix the mistakes. So this is about where her eyes are going to be. Okay. I know it looks silly right now. And then down here, about halfway between her eyes and her bottom of her chin, would be her nose, the bottom of her nose. Okay? So that's kind of cool, right? And then this line from the corner of the eyes would be about where the mouth is, and she's happy, and we got a little bit of a smile going on there, and we're going to make her look as cute as we possibly can. Hopefully we get a cute girl out of this, a cute little girl running in the water, having a good time. Get her eyebrows in there. She's just having a good time, probably playing with friends or something. Okay, now we want to take the lighter colors that we had. So here's the red. So we want to go over here. We want to put some shade on her. Not shade, some reflections on her. Some highlights. So we put a little bit there. Down here on her cheek, we want some. And you see I'm just scrubbing it in. I'm not worried about making it exactly perfect yet. Just scrubbing it in. And her nose would be very bright because the nose sticks out and it grabs the sunlight. Okay. And a little bit more darkness. So we have the chin and we have the eyes. And that's the top of the head. Well, what happens between here and there is the hairline, you see. So let's go ahead and give this little girl some hair. Hair is important to a girl, right? Just make this girl happy running through the water. I don't know yet if I want her to have long hair or not, so I'm just gonna kind of put the hairline. We'll worry about her hair flying in the wind if that's where we want to go with this. Okay, now a little bit of definition here for her cheeks. They're puffing out because she's just smiling, just laughing. You can feel it, right? You can feel her having a good time. And what I like about doing digital art, now, just so you know that the majority of the digital art that I do is either just for myself or for like a project, usually like a book for a children's book, or like the pastor at the church, he'll ask me sometimes to do pieces of art for the message he's giving, whatever. He likes recruiting me to do that kind of stuff. I like doing it too. I became kind of the in-house artist for the church, and they asked me to do, not all the time, you know, there are other artists in the church too, and the one thing I don't want to do is to make anybody feel left out, so he does ask other people. But anyway, I do like doing it. Alright, now we want to get some of that light tone again. And I'm not really worried about it being perfect yet. I'm just trying to give myself something to work with. Clay on the table, so to speak. Excuse me for clearing my throat like I am. I'm just still getting over a cold. Just having a hard time getting rid of this completely. Not complaining though. There's people way worse than me. Way worse. So here we go. So how you guys doing? Hope you're doing good. I enjoy the notes you write for me and the messages. And don't forget I have a Facebook page now, Poppa Paints. It's Poppa Paints, and then it's The Art of Larry Whitler, which is my real name, of course. I did it that way because it was already in existence, The Art of Larry Whitler, but I didn't have one for Poppa Paints. And I wanted one for Poppa Paints so that you guys could have an easy way to share your work. And I invite you to do that, so. There, you see this little girl? She's coming around, huh? See her face? Let's get some teeth in there. I think I'm going to switch brushes, go over to the turpentine brush, because the turpentine brush is much finer. It's more like watered down. That's why it's called the turpentine brush. I just want to put some teeth in here. They don't have to be perfect. Well, they sort of do. But I mean, I don't have to individualize them. I can just put a little hint of it there. And then I'll get a little bit of darkness for the inside of her mouth. Maybe I'll get some bottom teeth in there too. There we go. And let's get some of this other red over here. A little bit more of a lip tone. So I was looking at a video this morning of these people who were camping in West Virginia, and they went on this trail, a very, very cool looking trail, but there were a lot of people on it, and there was a bear on the trail, and the guy walking on the trail apparently didn't see the bear. It was behind him. The video that I watched was taken from somebody behind him, behind the bear. And so they were calling out to the guy, there's a bear behind you. He turns around, and you could tell the guy was like startled, like, oh my gosh. And he like tries to do, you know, they tell you to raise your arms and make a loud noise, although I couldn't hear him in the video. So he was trying to scare the bear away. And then fortunately a ranger came around, and the ranger got on, he was in his car, and the ranger was able to say through his, you know, the loudspeaker on the outside of the car, he said, go off the trail to the right. I don't know what the ranger knew, but he knew to go to the right. And the guy did. He went to the right, and the bear then went off the trail to the left. It was like the guy knew that would happen. And then they interviewed the guy later on. They said, what were you thinking? He said, well, I thought I was done. He looked to be in his mid-60s or so. But anyway, that's scary stuff. It was somewhere in West Virginia. So, and we got that same thing here in Central Florida. We got, everywhere you go, it says you're in bear country. So you gotta be careful. People tell us when we walk that we should bring bear spray. I keep thinking we should do that. This girl looks a little happy. There, I'm not so sure I did that right. I'm not so sure. So guess what? What you could do with this, you could fix it. I'm going to put her eyes a little bit lower. Wait a minute, I have to put these two layers together. So push that one down. Oh no, I could do this because that's her eyes are a separate layer, right? Okay, so I'm going to take this. Now watch this little trick. Just take her eyes and her eyebrows. I'm going to move them down a little bit. Yeah. That looks better, doesn't it? Looks more natural. I think so. So there's her face. That's really all you need to do. And you have that beautiful little, cute little face. Now we're not done with her. But I like the way that looks. All right, so let's get some other features in there. Let me sample a little bit of this dark here. Let me put it back to the dry brush. And let's get back on that same layer. Yep, we're there. Give her some ears. A little bit bigger. The brush, I mean, not the ears themselves. So her ears. I want her tilting her head a little bit so her ears would be higher. Okay. That's really all I need to do. And a little bit of darkness over here. There we go. Alright, now let's get her hair going. What kind of hair do you think she should have? Long, flowing hair. Or maybe up in a bun. Yeah, maybe she's got her hair all wrapped up there. Oh, I kind of like that idea. Alright, there we go. Let's make it a little bit darker. Then we can always add the light, the highlights to her hair. That's cute. I think she looks cute. What do you think? She's got a cute look to her. I haven't really decided which direction the light is coming from. I guess it's coming from above because you can see the highlights on her. So let's go ahead and put some highlights in her hair too. Up here. Down here. Okay. I think we got the girl's face. All right, now let's bring it back up. Remember, that's going to be her body down there. All right, so what I want to do is get this one. Let's see, I want to put this one over here and merge that one down. Then let's move it over because we got two of them here. So I cut that one short there. So I want to take this other one here and make it as large but not cut it off at the bottom. Make sure the whole thing stays on the page. And now, I know it seems weird, right? Let's take this one, move it over. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So I'm using two separate layers, so I'm not really messing with them too much. That looks about the same size. Alright, so let's take this one now with the face on it and move it over. So now we have the face and the dimensions for the whole body. You see? So there's her face. And we're going to now make this the rest of her body. Okay, now this is where this has to work out here. I no longer need, well, yes I do. I need these colors still for her legs and everything. Okay, so let me think how to do this. These two together, so I only have one of them. And I'll move it over a little bit so it's not interfering. Because remember, when we're done with this, we're going to make her even smaller than that, but we have to have it bigger so we can see what we're doing. Okay? And I think that's the best way to do it. So now let's take another layer just to make sure we don't mess it up too bad. And on that other layer, I'm going to try to sketch in her clothing. I'm going to give her like a purple coat or something like that. All right, let's just try this. Okay. So here's her body. Okay. There's her arm. It's coming out. She's excited, running through the water. I know you can't see that yet. And I'm just scrubbing it in. You see how I'm scrubbing it instead of doing normal strokes like you would with a regular brush. I like doing it that way. To me, after I've used this for so long, that seems to be my favorite way of doing this. So from about there to there, it's about there. It's about where her hand is. Okay. There we go. I'm going to take a little bit of this color here. See how you sample it? You just touch it, and then you have that color on your brush. And then over here, she's got this hand. And we're gonna make them better. Let's give her some shorts, some blue jean shorts. Get some dark blue here. And give her a leg, and make it darker. There's her leg there. And this other leg, the pants would be lower. Okay, and then we want to take this light color, make it the top of her knee. And this darker color, and make it the bottom of her leg. It'll happen, you'll see. And then the other darker color, because it's behind her in the shadows, coming down. Okay, now we need to erase some of it. So what I'm going to do is merge these two layers together. And then we're going to use the eraser. The eraser I want to use is the airbrush eraser. I'll use a smaller one. So I don't, and here's the size of the tip. So I just want to get her legs. I think I need to fix something here. I think I made that a little bit too high there, that shoulder. Or maybe not high enough. Let me try this. There we go. That looks all right. And then this one over here. So she's coming out here. And I think we can make this arm come out a little bit more. Here we go. And you see how it just separated like that, so we fill it in. That's one of the beautiful things about using digital, is you can mess with it and adjust things as you do them. Now these pants here, I think I want them. I think this leg needs to be a little bit over. Yeah, that's better. Now let's take this eraser. There we go. Now let's get these colors back in here. So the dark color, the bottom of her shoe, running through the water. The dark color on her leg here. Let's get this light color here. We'll go ahead and make a very small hint of light here coming across her foot. And a little bit of a hint of a shoe there. Let's get that blue. Get some light colors there. Yeah, I'm not so sure. She's starting to look okay, but I'm still not so sure I'm happy with the way that shoulder looks on her. Let me get closer to it. Maybe that'll help. Let me erase some of that. Get this over here. Maybe the shoulder needs to come out a little further. So I'm using a combination of the eraser and let's put a shirt underneath her. Maybe that's what needs, something separating the jacket. The jacket shouldn't be flush up against her anyway. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. A little bit darker here. Maybe she's got a hoodie or something. That's probably what it is. A little hoodie coming down around here. Her little chin. Okay. It's coming together. I like showing you everything from the beginning to the end. So if you are more interested in certain parts of this, like just to see like little pieces, I know that a lot of people watch the whole thing, and I know a lot of people prefer to skip forward. That's what I would do. That's what I do. I watch other people's videos too, and I learn from them. So we're all learning. Let me get some of these colors over here. A little bit of light coming off of her. I still feel like her head is too low. What do you think? I think her head is too low. I do think it is. I don't know what I did wrong there. Alright, let me see. Yeah, I can pull her head up a little bit. I'll keep that as part of it. Let's see. Yeah, I think that looks better. I think that looks more natural. And you know, her body might be a little too skinny. Maybe she needs a little bit more width to her. So I'll take the whole body I'm going to go to the distort feature and make it a little bit wider. Did I do too much? And now let's take that area here that I messed up and paint it back in. Yeah, maybe make some of that white shirt come through here too. There we go. Not so sure about that. Okay, we'll just keep working it. We'll just keep working it. We'll make it work. We're gonna make it work, right? We can do this. What was that Adam Sandler movie guy, right? Rob, what's his name? Rob Thomas? No, that's a singer, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so she's wearing a coat and there we go. It's starting to happen now. It's starting to look more like a little child running. I'm not sure I like everything about this yet, but we'll get it there. Let's put some more light tones on her. We have a hotel in our area that went up recently, and they've got paintings in the lobby of dogs, and they're beautiful, beautiful paintings. I like seeing stuff like that because it inspires me to do more, to do better, to try new things. I was talking to a lady yesterday about, she's an abstract artist, and she discovered something new by watching YouTube that she had never done before with abstract. And I don't know much about abstract. I have done very little of it because I don't really understand it. I think the bottom line is, if it looks good, then it is good, right? That's the rule. All right, let's try to make her hand a little bit more defined. So we want to use some of those dark red, like brown colors. Get some shadows here for her hand. Some of the lighter colors here for the back of her hand. See if I can add a few small lines that look like maybe separating her thumb from the rest. Yeah, that's okay. Again, she's going to be in the picture, kind of small. Now let's do the same thing for this hand. Let's kind of make a shadow here. Maybe a bright spot here. Maybe the light is hitting her thumb and the back of her hand. She's got the fingers, of course. You can do something similar over here with the light. There we go. Now down here on her knee, the knee is capturing the light, and it's reflecting off the side as well. And I can use a little bit of this color here. Kind of give it a little bit more definition, I think. And I think I get this blue over here for pants. And make a little bit more light. I think this foot, see, this foot's going to be somewhat obscured by the splashing. So I think at this point I can get rid of that palette. I don't need that anymore, so just delete that. And there's the girl. She's way too big. However, I'm going to duplicate her and then merge these two together so her colors look richer. And I'm going to duplicate her again, but this time for a different reason. I'm going to turn off the bottom layer. The top layer I'm going to put to alpha lock. Then I'm going to grab the color of the background and I'm going to paint over her so that she completely disappears, or appears to disappear. I'm going to show you why I do that. Once I get it all covered so you can't see any of the paint left over, then what I want to do is turn off the background, and now you see what I just painted. Some of these areas are shining through. We don't want that because otherwise the background's going to come through. So turn off the alpha lock so you can paint in all those spots, and just go ahead and fill it in. All those little spots that are showing the black background, you don't want that because otherwise the other color backgrounds are going to show. I'm not so worried about the foot because it's going to be covered with a splash. Alright, that's good. Now put this layer back on and move it to the top. And there we have our little girl. And we can now merge those two together. And I'm going to keep her separate. She's a separate layer. So let's put the background back on. Now, remember, we don't want her that big. That's way too big. So, but at the same time, what if I change my mind? Well, I'm going to duplicate her, turn one of them off, and then make the one that's left smaller. Okay? Because I want her to be the one running through the water. I want her a little off center. Alright, now let's take the background that we want to use, and we're going to make this little girl running through the water. Okay? So what I think I want to do, okay, let me think about this. So we need another layer, of course. We need that layer to be behind her. Okay? And let's just start sketching it in. I'm not sure what I'm doing here, to be honest with you. Let's just start with something dark. Something dark, maybe. Like that, just like a background. I don't know, some horizon. Let's put some dark greens in there. She's running in the woods or something. Some of these off, unsaturated dark greens. That's a little bit too green. Less saturated. Yeah, that's good. I can make them big because I'm gonna. That's the one beautiful thing about this. You can paint over it. It's no big deal. Gonna have a lot of areas back here that are kind of undefined, very undefined. Now let's get some yellowish green right here for where the sun looks like it's shining. Yeah, it looks good. We'll get some of that here. We'll make the sun very bright over here. I think that's where I want the sun to be. Or the brightness, like the brightest spot in the sky. And we can add a little bit of blue to that since it is the sky after all. Yeah, let's do that. Make some of that sky shine through. There we go. Very light. I know it looks weird right now, right? Okay. Now let's get some of these darker colors here. Put them down here. This is going to be where the water is. She's running through a big old puddle of water. I have a story I want to share with you. I always start this story when I tell this story to say that this story illustrates the difference between children and adults. Are you ready? So there was a story on the news. This part's true. Well, the whole thing's true. But this was on the news, and we had a flood here in Florida. We had some heavy rain, not unusual for us. And there are some areas around here that really flood. I mean, really flood. Houses, people's homes are flooded over, and it's devastating to them. I am not making fun of the devastation that happens when a flood happens. But there's a funny story that I saw. So I was watching the news, and this home had been flooded, and the woman who owned the home, or who lived in the home, was being interviewed by the TV crew, and the woman was talking to the camera. Basically, you couldn't see the interviewer, but she was talking to the camera, and she was saying, "Oh, I lost everything. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't really have insurance." And she was all upset. And as upset as she was, in the background, and here's the difference between children and adults, in the background were the children diving, jumping off of the back. The back of the couch was still visible. It was above the water line. The living room was filled with water, but the back of the couch you could still see. And the children were diving, jumping off of it while she's being interviewed. And they got swimming masks on. And I thought, oh my gosh, these kids are just having a blast swimming in the living room. And the poor mother doesn't know what she's going to do. She's beside herself. I hope everything worked out for her. So it was just the difference between children and adults. Robin and I, as you know, probably most of you know, we did radio for a very long time. And quite often we did radio news, especially local news. And we'd go out with our microphones and sometimes with the video camera. Later on in our career, we used the cameras a lot. Early on, it was just sound. But then, as video cameras became better, we started using video cameras. And we put stuff on YouTube and on Facebook, etc. Anyway, there was a bad flood in an area here known as Yankeetown. And we went over there to cover it because it's not... it's kind of like between zones for the TV, the main TV news. So they weren't getting the coverage, and they needed some coverage because they needed some help. They needed FEMA to come in, and they had all kinds of issues that were stemming from the flood. And Robin and I went over there, and we saw the aftermath of what had been devastating to that community. And we put it on the YouTube and on Facebook, and we said, well, we don't really have a super big audience, so I hope this helps. You want to know something? People came from everywhere. People just were helping out everywhere. They showed up out of nowhere. I don't know how much help FEMA gave them. I'm sure they came eventually, but sometimes, the government isn't always quick. I'm not picking on our government. I'm not that guy, but You know, sometimes people have a need like right away, and it doesn't always come right away, you know, the help that they could use. But what happened was the different churches and the different individuals and the veterans organizations and just people just out of everywhere. And I'm not saying that the only reason they found out about it was because of our video, but I know that some of them did, from what they told us. So, you know, just do a little thing sometimes can make a big difference for somebody. You just never know. Just never know. Just try to do the best you can every time. That's my philosophy. Yeah, there's no way that I'm ever going to be the perfect guy. I feel like together as a community we are better off than always trying to do things by ourselves. With this art channel as a community. And now that I have the Facebook page, I'm sure it will become more of a community. So share your artwork, share your stories. If you're doing a YouTube channel or if you're doing videos on some other platform, oh, I'd love to see them. This is different, isn't it? Watching digital. Are you okay with this? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe some of you prefer the traditional art. Procreate, by the way, has another program called Procreate Dreams. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's an animation program. Oh my gosh, I have seen some amazing stuff. I tried it. I'm not that good at it, but if you have the patience to do animation, and you don't want to spend a fortune on an animation program, you might want to consider it because it's really good. I have it. I have it in my iPad right here, but like I say, I'm not that good at it, so. Alright, so this girl, I think the problem I'm having with her is that it's not the same palette that I'm using for the background. The background is so green. Maybe I need to add some purples. Yeah, let me try that. Add some purples to the background. Maybe that'll help bring the whole picture together. Because right now she's got this purple coat, and you know, she's got some oranges in her face, some reds and browns and oranges. Let me put some of them in here, just to balance it out a little bit. It's kind of undefined, just things that are happening. Let me go back to that purple. Let me make some of this stuff purple here. A purple tree. Just to give it some continuity with her, because it looks like two separate paintings, which it is, of course. All right, let's make it less saturated here. All right, well, it's starting to come together. Right? Alright, let's get back to some of those other colors here. This is the super light. Yeah, now the color's coming through. Now we're starting to see a little bit of continuity with the whole composition, which is what I want. Alright, let's go back to some of these greens, these blue greens. And I want to make a lot of that yellow reflecting into this. We go here. She's got a lot of orange in her. Alright, I'm going to show you a little trick now to make her reflection. So I'm going to take her, I'm going to duplicate her again, and this time I'm going to flip her over, and I'm going to pull the flipped one down to here. And I'm going to warp it a bit because I want that foot to be touching there and this one to be touching there. So I'm just kind of stretching it out a little bit. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm making her reflection in the water. Okay. Now it's a separate layer. So what I can do is I can make it less opaque, fade it out. You see what happened? You see what happened there? There's the reflection. It's not going to stay like that, but that's what we have right now. Let's see. So let me put those two together, the girl and her reflection. Let's see, I kept this one. Oh gosh, should I even consider that? Let's see. I don't know, maybe I do like her bigger like that. Hold on a second, let's see. Let me move her over. You know what, I kind of do like her like that. I think I'm going to keep her a little bit bigger than the other one. Let me compare the two. There's that one, and there's that one. Oh my gosh, I think I like that one better. I think I like that one better. Alright. Oh, this is a work in progress, so let's get rid of that first one. Let's duplicate this one. Turn it over. Turn it over. Make this her reflective surface. We'll warp it a bit. Put that leg there. It's hardly at all in the picture. That's okay, just enough of a reflection. Now let me fade that. There we go. And then let's connect this with her. Merge the two down. Oh yes. Oh yes. It's a better composition, isn't it? You think so? So now let's go back to the background. I'm going to double the background just to make the colors richer. There they are. And now what I want to do, alright, what I want to do is I want to put a layer on top of everything. And I want to take a lot of these bright colors here, the sunshine. Now I'm on a separate layer so I can mess with this and not worry about it too much. But I want to get a lot of this sunshine reflecting in this water. I want there to be a lot of movement in the water. So you can see what's happening here. We can make it slightly green. We want to have ripples in the water. I'm using the dry brush. The dry brush helps so much with this kind of effect. Right there, right in front of her. Yeah, she's running through the water. What do you think? Huh? Now let's make it a little bit, a couple of dark spots where there's some shadows in the little ripples. And again, let's go back to the very light. And let's get some of these dark areas that are reflecting into the water to be more just reaching all the way down. There's no reason why they can't. The vertical lines always play a role. Just add some more light here. More of the ripples of the water. And maybe even a little bit more of the brilliance coming from behind the tree. The sun is just, it's a very bright day and it's coming everywhere. It just might even help her stand out a little bit. Alright, now let's see over her, a layer on top of her. We're going to just put some of those splashes in there. We can make them smaller than that. And this is why I didn't do that foot, because I knew it was going to be all full of splashes. And I want these splashes to be real, like she's just hitting her foot really hard into this water, and it's just splashing everywhere on her. Just splash. That's fun, huh? Just tapping it on there. Just getting those splashes up, maybe even as high as her coat. All right, now I do think I want to adjust her coloring a little bit, so I'm going to go to the I have her layer picked out. I'm going to go to this thing called curves. Let me see if I can change her coloring a little bit. I want to make it more in tune with the rest of the picture. That looks okay. That looks okay. Let's compare the two. Okay. That's good. One more thing. What do you think? I'm going to try something. If I have enough stuff here. A layer with the multiply layer. And I will do the clipping mask. And I'm going to color her with some of this dark green. You see how she just got darker? And then I'm going to take this airbrush eraser, use the soft one. Let's erase some of the things that should be brighter. So the sun is coming down across her face, behind her hair, onto her arm, her hand, onto her upper leg right there. Onto that hand. Okay, now let's compare that with it and without it. That's with it, that's without it. You see, it puts all of that area in more of a shadow. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so now let's see if I can put them together without ruining it. Yeah, it worked out okay. So I think we have our girl running through the water. Done. How do you think? What it took about, how long did that take? About an hour and 5-10 minutes, something like that. All right. Well, there we go. The girl splashing in the water. I had fun doing that. I hope you enjoyed watching that. I'm going to now finish this video and go do something else, possibly outside, maybe even cut the hedges. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.